Hi everyone, it's Dre Patterson here. I just wanted to make a quick video today because I need to talk about something. Yesterday was the Bell Let's Talk fundraising program function thingy that they have everybody. They stated for every text that you send on social media or every video that you watch, they're going to donate 5 cents to mental health. I love, first I want to say is that I love what they're doing in terms of that stuff, but I felt the need to actually make a video today. I couldn't make it yesterday because I think tensions are high and everything in regards to anybody that doesn't support this movement. But me being a person that does deal with mental health issues, I've dealt with severe depression, I have high anxiety, just to name a couple. And they do challenge my everyday life. So I just want to share that. So I am a person that goes through depression and issues with mental health. I have a psychiatrist and everything, so I am getting the treatment that I feel that I need to get. However, as I said, I love the concept of everybody being able to talk and getting rid of the stigma of mental illness. But what's funny to me is that the stigma, they say to get rid of the stigma. However, I worked for Bell in 2 different departments. I've worked at Bell Expressview, and I've worked at Virgin Mobile, which Bell bought Virgin over. In both incidents, I was let go for the first time. I'll tell you about my Bell Expressview experience, and then I can tell you about my Virgin Mobile experience, switching over to Bell. And then I guess at the end of the video, you can decide whether Bell actually really cares about mental health. Okay, so I definitely, I will use hashtag BellLetsTalk. I would use that if I was doing this video before. If I was doing the video yesterday, but I'm not. From now on, if I do anything regarding supporting the Bell Let's Talk, I would rather hashtag Let's Talk. Now I know that 5 cents is not donated for hashtag Let's Talk, but maybe we should change something about it because Bell should not be included in there. And as I said, I've worked at Bell in 2 different departments, 2 completely different buildings, like they have no association with each other and years apart. I believe I worked at Bell Expressview in 2007, maybe? And then I worked at Virgin Mobile in 2008, and we switched over to Bell, I believe, in like 2011. Or something. But anyways, so that goes to show my timeline. Now, why I disagree with Bell being in the name of hashtag Bell Let's Talk is because I personally, and I do know other people, that know that Bell does not support mental health. They might support mental health in terms of, yes, we're donating 5 cents, blah, 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 blah. But how about working within your company and focusing on the people, the employees within your company, because they tend to cause a lot of stress. When I worked at Bell Expressview, I'll tell you something. I don't even realize that I don't really know if this is confidential or not, but I can tell you. When I worked at Bell Expressview, a lot of my stresses are I'm not a salesperson whatsoever. Now, Bell Expressview does have sales. They had amazing incentives. Everything was great. The people working there were great. I made some great friends over there, but it was like sales. Everything was sales. Everything was sales. Sales to the point of if you call, at that time when I was working there, if you called to remove your programming, so say you're like, I don't want the Life channel anymore. If you call to remove that and I go to remove that for you, I take that as a deduction. And so what that means is not only do I have to make my 2% or whatever, the percentage was super, super low. So it was like $2 a day is kind of your minimum to make. So that could be like the magazine that they had at the time. That was why if you ever had Bell Express View and people were calling, when you were calling them, they would always ask you, hey, let me check out your programming. Let me make sure you have the right one. And also a lot of the times that I experienced was when people would call and would remove their programming and people would hang up. Now, the reason why people would hang up on those people is because guess what? It's getting deducted from our like it's our stats. So it's a deduction for us if you decide to remove something, which means not only do I have to make up my $2 for the day, but now I also have to make up whatever I lost. Or our job, how they tried to position it was that, oh, well, you know, there's always other things that you can recommend for the customer. But bottom line, if somebody's trying to downgrade their services, especially if it's for financial purposes, then what is the point in trying to upgrade them with something else? And then they would sit there, when I would argue with them about that, they would sit there and be like, oh, well, it all balances itself out. That's why we have monthly stats and whatnot. Okay, sure. Go ahead. That's fine. My stats were always great in terms of customer service. I always delivered amazing customer service. However, my sales were really bad. And my call time was hard too, because they'd be like, oh, well, has always been an issue for me. So one day, I'm like trying to work it out. I'm putting my all in. Like I realize, hey, I don't have good sales skills, so I'm going to start writing out. Like I did everything for my part. I walk in to Bell one morning. I can't get logged in to my things. So I'm just like, I don't understand. So now I'm freaking out because I'm just like, why can't I log in? Whatever. So a woman calls me and says, here, Dre, just come with me into this room. So I'm like, okay, cool, fine. I don't understand why my logins are not working, blah, 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 blah. When I walk into that office, I was so worked up about not being able to log in. And from what I remember them saying to me, pretty much they let me go at that point. It was a week before my 3 months probation was up, and they let me go, and it was very quick. I was in shock. I had said like, I don't understand. I know my manager, he somewhat felt a little bad for it. I could tell because he knew when I would have my team meetings with him, he knew I was trying my best. And I feel like they weren't reciprocating the same types of tools for me. Yes, they had somebody call us me, come and sit down with me. I remember one essential call where the guy was like, he coached me, and he was a super nice guy too. And he was like, I got it out. I got the sale question out. I did that perfect. And I was like, oh, okay. So the woman said, no, I don't want this programming or whatever. So he's like, okay, put the customer on hold. So I was like, okay. So I put my customer on hold. Then he sits there and says, okay, well, I want you to rebuttal that. And so that was so much mental stress and so hard for me because I'm not a salesperson. I broke down in tears and I was like, I can't do this. So in terms of mental stress and stuff like that those were things I started getting anxiety by being on the phone because there was the stress of knowing, one, I had a call time, which I could never ever make that call time. Which is 5 minutes, by the way. So when you're on the phone with a phone company and your agent seems to be agitated or seems to be rushing you off the phone, this is why, because they have certain stats that need to be made and our bonuses are withheld if we don't make those stats. So a lot of people have the drive to be able to do it. Some people, maybe I'm not cut out for sales, but I knew this. But I was good at customer service and I was great on the phones. Everything other than my call time and my sales, in this instance, my sales situation was an issue. So that goes to show you, so even in my meeting, like my manager couldn't even look me in the eye because he knew that I was doing my part and trying my best. My issue is that nobody came and sat down and gave extra work with me. Like nobody came and sat down and did extra time with me. When I try to do time with my managers, I felt very, very passed off. So in terms of caring about your mental health, these things, you would think that a company that supports a BellLetsTalk and is so big about, oh, let's talk about this. Let's talk about how you're feeling. Let's talk about your stress. You'd think that they would care about that. And the fact that they pulled the sneaky move of firing me a week before my 3 months probation was up. So that goes to show. So that's one reason why I'm not happy to put hashtag BellLetsTalk in there, because that was something that affected me in a major way. I said to the manager, I was like, but I talked to you guys. You guys didn't even try to help me anymore, and they couldn't say anything. They were trying to rush me out the room as I was saying these things. Now I understand why they did that, why they don't tell you the day before that, hey, things are looking bad, or why your manager, I'm sure I spoke to my manager the day before that. I was none the wiser that I was going to be fired because of my stats, or because I guess I couldn't cut it for Bell. So sure enough, okay, so I'm devastated. I go home, I go to find a job. I was lucky enough, I get picked up. I get a job at Virgin Mobile. I get picked up by them. Now, I've worked at other call centers. I've worked at Microsoft. I've worked at like insurance call centers. I've worked at Direct Energy. So I've had my fair experience in terms of call centers and garbage that goes on. Bell in particular, though, I definitely have a big issue with. Because I feel, and especially when they're doing things like this, because it seems like you're hiding in plain sight, and this is not cool. Now, Virgin is a whole nother story, which I'm going to take the time, and I'm going to make another video for that, because this video is now at 11 minutes. And so I don't know if this made sense at all, because I do, as you can probably tell, I do get quite passionate about that situation, especially with Bell and ExpressView. And I feel like I didn't have closure in terms of those. So maybe this is my way of starting to have closure with them. But this is just, this Bell Let's Talk. Please don't let the wool be pulled over your eyes in terms of this, because I'm not saying that we shouldn't support it, because yes, they've put money in place of supporting mental health. So yes, one can sit there and say, oh, hey, I'll still do it. Yeah, Bell might be crappy, but guess what? They're doing a great thing, and they're supporting mental services. But in one way, like, I look at that, and being a person that has mental illness, like, I'm just like, to me, it's not truthful to me. As I've seen some people say, they do it as a tax write-off. They're doing it just to get whichever. And that's how I feel. I feel that there's no interest in terms of mental health. I feel like Bell does not care about mental health of people. And that's just one example as to why, because I was trying. It wasn't, Bell put this thing out called Skill and Will, is what they're trying to do. And one of them tried to explain that to me before, was saying, well, we're trying to decipher whether this is a skill issue, which in turn we can try to help you. And if it's a will issue, then that means that you're not willing to do the things. So yeah, so anyways, I'm going to close off this video now, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to come back with my Virgin mobile story, switch to Virgin/Bell story. And it's going to be quite shocking. I can say that. So, and I definitely will try to make it today to show you guys, but thanks so much for listening. I'm sorry I haven't been back online for a very, very long time, but as a lot of you guys know, or some of you may not know, I do have 4 small boys, aged 9 to 2, which one is home with me today, so which is why I can't make the long video that I want to make. But yeah, I hope everybody is well. I just wanted to say that small part, and stay tuned for my Virgin Mobile switching over to Bell experience. And thanks for watching, and have you guys a great day. Thanks.